Pokey pokey weirdos! Beetlejuice is back!
We're gonna have some laughs.
I'm Rev. I made a thing! Whoa. Let us converse. What happened was my neighbor put these on the side of the road with a big free sign on it, and I thought, I want those because I know what I want to do with them. I want to make them black and white. But what else am I gonna do? How is this theme gonna work? Then it came to me. Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice! Because I had a broken thumb and Sable's lower back was sore, it was the crippled helping the crippled get this thing home. We managed to shimmy it inside our giant recycling bin that's on wheels and wheel it home and drop it a number of times on the way, which took the shattered bits that were already messed up and shattered them more. Therefore, I got some wood filler, white wood fillers, so that it would match closely to the original paint job, and I slathered that all over the chipping bits, not necessarily to make it even with the original wood, but to keep myself from getting splinters because I have the worst luck with that. Except they were so dirty, I originally thought they were beige. Gross. This picture is after the first wash. They still look kind of yellow, right? I should have gotten a picture before I did the first wash. I forgot to, so that you all could have seen how grungy these drawers had been. Ew. So after thoroughly washing them with a mixture of Dawn and vinegar, I removed the handles that came with it because I plan to make my own sandworm handles eventually, but you'll get to see the handles that I picked out for it for now until I can put the new ones in. Sanded down all the surfaces that would be painted so that there was a rough texture for the paint to grab onto. For the base coat, I got some white wall paint, and I'd been working at a hardware store during this time, so it was perfect, and I got wall paint for half off. But before I could paint, I had to lay down a tarp. Cheated, went to Dollar Tree, got a cheap tablecloth, got a number of them actually, because after the first coat, I used another tarp to help me section off the bits that I didn't want painted black. This way the tarp could cover a larger space and then I wouldn't have to tape off as much. The sides of the drawers were pretty easy, couple vertical stripes here and there, except with the drawers I wanted to have patterns and have more of a checkerboard diagonal line across. And I simplified that by making the two drawers in the middle black. But the two on top and the two on bottom each got their own patterns, so I had to draw those out. Lots of measuring and math. Oh, it's time for the black. Black spray paint, very basic and cheap for the base coat. And again, it was something else I was able to get from the hardware store at the time when I could get everything half off. After that first layer of cheap black spray paint, I got a different and more expensive version of black spray paint to do a second layer and make sure that it was the blackest black I could manage. I wanted it as black as my soul. Move on to what I find one of the most satisfying parts of a project. Peeling the paint away and getting to see that clean line between one color and the other. Yes. Now that I have all my base coats down, I looked around the drawers and realized that a whole bunch of it had gotten scuffed up over the time of moving it around and taking multiple days to design and paint this thing. So now it was time for cleanup work. I collected my acrylic paints and got to work on those little bitty parts that were pretty messy. I even have shiny black acrylic paint, which I put on over the base coat of basic acrylic paint so that it would better match the black spray paint. At this point, you'd think we're done, but oh no, it gets better. New drawers have entered the world of Beetlejuice, and they've started growing moss and oozing this purple slime. With the moss and slime, I was able to cover up spots that I messed up on and didn't feel like cleaning up with the black or the white, and it was easier to cover it up with green or purple. I was even able to work around having that section that went crooked because of the tape, and embrace the crookedness because Beetlejuice. These drawers were made out of pressed wood, which meant they were really heavy and we had a hard time moving it around. Therefore, I added wheels on the bottom. Genius! Not don't necessarily suggest this, but the way I did it was first I don't necessarily suggest this, but the way I put the wheels on was first I used contact cement to get them in place where I wanted them, and then I drilled them in. Because I kept dropping them originally when I was trying to drill them in without having them stuck on first. Made it easier on myself. I felt the inside of the drawers were a little dull, so I grabbed some marble, what was it? I grabbed some marbled shelf liner and made them look pretty. It was time for the drawer knobs. It's showtime. Don't ruin my showtime. My neighbors decided to do construction just as I was almost done doing my makeup. The joys of living around people who are alive. For now. That was a little too Wednesday Addams instead of Beetlejuice.
You just like somebody died. Wait.
Sadly, I did get them from Amazon. I was trying to find some secondhand that weren't over $50. I was not in luck in that department. But I do hope to make my own handles at some point. Maybe even make them out of the handles that I got this time. But these are the handles that I got. The handles themselves are pretty sturdy, but the screws that came with them were unbelievably cheap and kept stripping, even with the basics of screwing them in, not even making them super tight. So all of my handles are kind of loose and wobbly. I have Beetlejuice drawers. They bring me so much joy. I smile every time I see them. I hope you guys like the video. I'll like the drawers too. And welcome to the madness. Handed down the... Ooh, jabbing me in the eye. It's my own eyelash. Okay. Basic and cheap. Dog. These drawers were... What were... Bleh. They were pressed wood? I think they were pressed wood. That didn't really work, did it? Okay. Oh, I keep thinking this bit's gonna be so cute, but it's so goofy, and that's kind of the point, but this is a story all about how this is a story all about how my neighbors went and tried to throw these out, but I said, wait a minute, I want those, and this is how the story goes. I can't rap, I tried. It's showtime.